वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय अराजका भयं नृणां मन्यमाना महर्षया देहं ममन्तु स्म निमे कुमार समजायत अराजक भयं नृणां मन्यमाना महर्षयः देहं ममन्तु स्म निमे कुमार समजायत अराजक भयं नृणां मन्यमाना महर्षयः देहं ममन्तु स्म निमे कुमार समजायत. Please repeat. अराजक भयं नृणां मन्यमाना महर्षयः देहं ममन्तु स्म निमे कुमारः समजायतः. अराजक भयं नृणां मन्यमाना महर्षयः देहं ममन्तु स्म निमे कुमारः समजायतः. माताजी. अराजक भयं नृणां मन्यमाना महर्षयः देहं ममन्तु स्म निमे कुमारः समजायत. Word to word translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Arajaka bhayam, due to fear of the danger of an unregulated government. Nirnam, for the people in general. Manyamanaha, considering this situation. Maharshayaha, the great sages. Deham, the body. Mamanthu, churn. Smaha, in the past. Nime, of Maharaj Nimi. Kumaraha, one son. Samajayata, was thus born. Translation. Thereafter, to save the people from the danger of an unregulated government, the sages churned Maharaj Nimi's material body, from which, as a result, a son was born. Please repeat. Thereafter, to save the people from the danger of unregulated government, the sages churned Maharaj Nimi's material body, from which, as a result, a son was born. Purport. Arajaka bhayam. If the government is unsteady and unregulated, there is danger of fear for the people. At the present moment, this danger always exists because of government by the people. Here we can see that the great sages got a son from Nimi's material body to guide the citizens properly. For such guidance is the duty of a Kshatriya king. A Kshatriya is one who saves the citizen from being injured. In the so-called people's government, there is no trained Kshatriya king. As soon as someone strong accumulates votes, he becomes the minister or president, without training from the learned Brahmanas expert in the Shastras. Indeed, we see that in some countries the government changes from party to party, and therefore the men in charge of the government are more eager to protect their position than to see their citizens are happy. The Vedic civilization prefers monarchy. People like the government of Lord Ramchandra, the government of Maharaj Yudhishthir, and the governments of Maharaj Parikshit, Maharaj Ambrish, and Maharaj Prahlad. There are many instances of excellent government under a monarch. Gradually, the democratic government is becoming unfit for the needs of the people, and therefore, some parties are trying to elect a dictator. A dictatorship is the same as a monarchy, but without a trained leader. Actually, people will be happy when a trained leader, whether a monarch or a dictator, takes control of the government and rules the people according to the standard regulation of the authorized scriptures. Om Agyantimirandhasya Gyananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthavitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarine Namo Mahadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurtushe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishna Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I seek blessings from all the Vaishnavas so that I can serve Srimad Bhagavatam by discussing. So our today's verse is Canto 9, Chapter 13 and 12th verse. Ajaka bhayam nrinam manyamana maharshaya deham mamantu ismanime kumara samajayata. Thereafter, to save the people from the danger of an unregulated government, the sages churned Maharaj Nimi's material body, from which as a result a son was born. So Prabhupada is very elaborately describing Ajaka bhayam, or the unregulated government, how an unsteady and unregulated government we are facing nowadays. So it is very danger for the people in general. So Prabhupada is writing, at the present moment this danger always exists because of government by the people. So we see in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhishma Dev was imparting knowledge of different fields to Maharaj Yudhishthir. When Lord Krishna personally told Maharaj Yudhishthir to go to visit Bhishma Dev to be guided on religious principles, administrative principles. So Yudhishthir Maharaj, he went when Bhishma Dev was on his deathbed, and Bhishma Dev guided him on different knowledge. So one of the branch of that knowledge is Raj Dharma. So he was guiding Maharaj Yudhishthir on Raj Dharma. So Prabhupada has very nicely described what should be the Raj Dharma and his purports. So we'll try to discuss from Srila Prabhupada purports from first canto 9th chapter, that what are the contrasts between Vedic culture and today's democratic government, Vedic monarchy system and today's democratic government. So first of all, the selection of the government is done by the people in general. They elect a leader on the basis of the leader is elected on the basis of votes. If a leader is getting more votes, he will be the leader. But if the people, Srila Prabhupada is writing, that if the people in general are all unqualified to select a leader, proper leader, then the leader will also be unqualified like them. So in Kali Yuga, we see Shukdev Goswami, he is predicting, and we can see nowadays also, the symptoms of people of Kali Yuga. Prayena alpayusha sabhya kalavasmin yuge jana manda sumanda matyo manda bhagya yubdruta. They are quarrelsome, they are always disturbed, they are very slow, their intelligence is very dull. So basically these are the symptoms of a Shudra. Kalau Shudra Sambhava. So if people are not properly trained, then the leader they will elect will also be a Shudra. But in Vedic system, how a king or a leader was selected, he was selected by trained Brahmanas, who are well versed in Vedic scriptures, who have full knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And these Brahmanas are engaged in welfare activities of the whole population. So when these types of Brahmanas, they select a king, a leader to rule the kingdom, so that king has all the qualities of a leader. So first of all, we can see leader should be someone who can give protection. Kshatriya. Kshatriya, the meaning of Kshatriya is one who can give protection against any harm, either physical or mental or spiritual. So a king is responsible for the progress of all the people in general, for their good spiritual as well as mental and physical health also. And he should give protection from all types of calamities. Just like we see Lord Ramchandra, Prabhupada is explaining, mentioning Maharaj Yudhishthir and Parikshit Maharaj, Ambrish Maharaj, they are all ideal leaders, ideal kings. So this is the difference in the Vedic system, Vedic monarchy system of selecting a leader and the present day. So obviously, if a leader is unqualified, untrained, then naturally there will be lack of good governments. He will not able to guide his subjects properly because he himself was not trained properly. There will be chaos in the society. And in the Vedic system, another difference we can see that here Prabhupada also mentioning that this government is for the people, by the people, and to the people. So this government was elected by the people and for the people. The general conception is whatever a state possesses, it is the property of the people and the people should enjoy. But our Vedic culture is totally different from this. That this, whatever a state, whatever wealth or whatever prosperity a state is possessing, it belongs to God. And just like in which we see in Ishopanishad, Isha Vashyam Idam Sarvam Yat Kincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tektena Bhunjita Magrada Kasya Svidhanam. Isha Vashyam Idam Sarvam. Whatever is there, it belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. And we should utilize only that much part which is allotted to us, not more than that. Otherwise, we will be termed as thieves. But nowadays we see that government, they do not even care about that this philosophy that everything belongs to God and we should take only that much which is required for us, necessary for us. Because everybody is trying to accumulate more and more for himself, trying to satisfy his senses more and more by accumulating more material wealth, more material sense objects. So that is why there is quarrel in every field we can see. Even in politics, so many politicians, what they do in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, they just fight with each other. They are not fighting for the welfare of the people, they are fighting so that they can get the post for 5 years and they can loot the public money as much as possible for 5 years for their own sense gratification. But the Vedic culture is totally different. They see everything as God's property, and they see king also as a representative of God, who works for as a representative of God, and he works under the guidance of learned brahmanas, so that people are benefited both materially and spiritually. And king was well trained. So this is the difference between these kind of governments. Now we can see what are the consequences that by these two different kinds of governments, ruling of these different kinds of government, what are the consequences of their government. So Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in the same chapter, 9th chapter, first canto, that the taxes should be properly utilized, not for personal sense gratification, but for the welfare of the public. And we see nowadays that the government is levy heavy taxes on public, but very little of those taxes collected are utilized for the welfare of the public. But previously, king was so pious and he was having all the good qualities. His character was very pure, and he personally followed what he want his citizens like to be. He personally follows that thing also. So citizens were very happy with their king, very, very pious king, God conscious king. So everything was available in abundance. Grains were in abundance, flowers, fruits, vegetables, everything, milk, everything was profusely available, provided by nature. So they are very happy and they are very generous in giving taxes to the king. They are not bound. Not like nowadays, government is just catching people to pay their taxes, and people are very much afraid of paying taxes. And just like in Bhagavatam, there is prediction that people will be so much exploited by these government. They are compared to thieves and dacoits. In Kali Yuga, these government people will be like thieves and dacoits. So people will be so much harassed by these people that they will flee to forest out of fear of these government officers. They will tax so much. But in Vedic culture, these taxes are used for different welfare activities. Just like we have heard about the description of Ram Rajya, how in the kingdom of Lord Ramchandra, in Ayodhya, the streets were sprinkled with fragrant water every day. So Srila Prabhupada was mentioning, if this was the condition of their streets, what to speak of the whole city? There were nice community halls where people can gather, and they were made of jewels, diamonds, gold palaces. Anybody can come and do their cultural activities there. So many nice facilities were provided by Lord Ramchandra's government. And whenever there is scarcity of food in this kingdom, the king who collected grains and other items from the public, he freely distributed when there is any scarcity of these things. But nowadays we see that some influential people They stock food grains in their godowns, and when there is high demand, there is scarcity in the market, they will sell their product and at very high prices to attain profit. So this is going on if the leaders are not properly trained. And the king regularly performs sacrifices for the pleasure of Krishna, for the pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we see in 3rd chapter, 10th verse, Lord Krishna advises all the living entities to perform yagyas. Saha yagya praja srashtva purovacha prajapati anena pasavidhyam vostistva kamadhuka. In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generation of men and demigods along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, "Be thou happy by this yagya," sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieve liberation. Shri Shri Radha Ras Bihari Bhagwan ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. So a king knows these things. He was well versed in scriptures also, and he knows how to please, how to get our life's necessary commodities through sacrifice. By pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, we can get everything, whatever is required to live happily and achieving liberation. So he knows, he was well versed in these scriptures, and he acted accordingly. Not that just by opening big factories, big industries, and creating more and more problems for the people. Now we see so many industries are there, but still unemployment is increasing day by day. But we see in Vedic culture, there is not even mentioning of unemployment kind of term. It is not mentioned anywhere in the scriptures. Berojgari. We have not ever heard of this term in our scripture mentioning it anywhere. So everyone was engaged according to his varna and ashram in prescribed duties. And it is the king's duty to look after that his subjects are properly following their varna and ashram or not. It is not that Srila Prabhupada, in one conversation, he was telling that one reporter was asking that America is a secular state. We cannot force people to on particular religion. So Prabhupada was replying, a secular state means that you should look after that everybody was following his or her particular religion. A state is responsible for letting people to follow their proper religion, occupational duty. So in Vedic culture, it is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. So this is Varnashram system. And in modern society also, if we compare, then we can see it is somebody is following Hindu religion, Christian religion, Muslim religion. So government duty is, government should make one department, so to look after that whether a Christian is following his Christian religion properly, a Hindu is following his Hindu religion properly, a Muslim is following his Muslim religion properly or not. Just like there are law departments, commerce departments, finance department, similarly there should be this department also. So that it will look after only that people are following or not. And whoever is not following, government should correct them. Because this is the ultimate aim of life, to achieve liberation, to achieve this God consciousness. Varnashrama acharavatat purushena pama puman vishnur aradhyate pumsa. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, it is mentioned that Varnashrama acharavata. Purushera Pamapuman, Vishnur Aradhyate Pumsa. So ultimate aim of all this regulated society, we are living in a society, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, or different occupational duties we are having. So what is the ultimate aim, ultimate goal? By properly discharging our occupational duties, our aim is to achieve that God consciousness, Krishna consciousness, self-realization. And a king is responsible for proper execution of these occupational duties for every citizen. But nowadays we see that there is no such department or no such effort is made to look after that people are whether actually following their proper religion or not. They are just busy with their own, and in the name of secular state, there is no religion at all. Prabhupada is writing, in the name of secular state, there is no religion. Ideal secular state means they should induce people, they should induce people to follow their particular religion. Then they will progress spiritually, which is the ultimate aim. So in the Vedic time we see that all these kings which are mentioned here, they are very much vigilant toward this thing, that people are whether following their religion or not, their occupational duty or not. It is not that a Shudra is following a Brahmana activities or a Brahmana is doing some Kshatriya activities. No. Proper Varna and proper Ashram, and for that also they have this Gurukul system in which people send their children in the very childhood, and from the childhood the teacher or the Acharya, he observed whether this child is interested in Brahmana activities or Kshatriya activities or Vaishya activities or Shudra activities, and accordingly he engaged them in their prescribed duties. So they are trained from their childhood to be engaged, what activities they are to be engaged in their future. So there is no complexion, or there is no such thing that Brahmana is not doing the work of a Brahmana, or Kshatriya is not doing the work of a Kshatriya, or Shudra is doing the work of a Brahmana. Just like we see in Lord Ramchandra's time, there was a Brahmana who came to Lord Ramchandra complaining that that the king of this country is very irreligious. He is telling to Lord Ramchandra, he was the king, and he is telling to Ramchandra that the king of this country is very irreligious. So King Ramchandra became very surprised. Why are you telling like this? So first he met Lakshmana, then Lakshmana brought him to Lord Ramchandra. So Lord Ramchandra, what happened to you? Why are you telling like this? So he was very much angry and very much morose also, because his son was died. So it was very unnatural in Vedic times that a son is dying in the presence of his father. Just like we have heard, we have read in Bhagavatam, in Lord Ramchandra's pastime, in his kingdom, there is no calamity, no distress, no disease, no old age, even no death. So this was very strange for this Brahmana, that his son was dying in the presence of his father. So he went to Lord Ramchandra complaining about the king, that what kind of king he is. Because of the king, because whatever unpleasant is happening in the state, it is because of the king only. It is because of the king's impious activities, the state is suffering. The people are suffering of the state. So he went. And Lord Ramchandra, he was very much respectable and very much caring for the Brahmanas. Namo Brahmana Devaya, Go Brahmanitaya cha. So he was very much concerned about this issue, and he tried to find out why this is happening. Because of someone is not following his Varnashram Dharma properly, that is why this kind of activity, untimely death of a son in the presence of his father is happening. So he searched out, and his ministers, they informed him that there is a Shudra who is performing austerity in the jungle, in the forest, and he is not authorized, or he is not authorized to perform austerity which are meant for Brahmanas. But he is doing that austerity which are meant for Brahmanas, and because of that, his Brahmana son has died. So Lord Ramchandra went to forest, and immediately when he saw that this Brahmana is performing austerity, severe austerity, which is not supposed to do, because he is not qualified to do that activity, do that austerity, he immediately cut off his head. He killed him. So that was the right punishment. And the Brahmana son immediately got life. So it is the duty of a king also to kill such kind of, or to correct these kind of people who are not following their religion, what is meant for them. We cannot say that a king is very non-violent, that is why he is compassionate toward these thieves, rogues and murderers. A king should take strict action, and that will benefit the culprit also. The culprit who has performed some heinous activities, some crimes or some kind of criminal activities, he will be freed from the reactions of that work if he is punished by the king, properly punished by the king. In this life only. He will not have to suffer in future lives for his sinful activities, whatever he is performing, if he is punished by the king properly. Just like we have heard yesterday from His Holiness Guru Prasad Swami Maharaj. Maharaj was mentioning that how Nimi Maharaj was cursing Vashishta Muni just to nullify his sins, sinful reactions, what he has accumulated by cursing Maharaj Nimi. So he was helping him, he was showing compassion. So this is real compassion. To correct one for his sinful activities, this is correct compassion for the king. So in this way, this Shudra got punished and the Brahmana got his son back. So this was the true justice, and the king is responsible for each and every living entity, is occupational duties, whether they are following, they are engaged in their proper varna and ashram or not. But nowadays we cannot find this kind of vigilance or this kind of guidance by the government. They are just engaged in maintaining their party and winning the elections, how to win that election after 5 years. And different strategies they are planning, how to defeat the opposing party. But a king has very responsible job, and he is responsible for so many things we can see. Not just materially he is responsible, but for his spiritual progress also he is responsible. And the king, in Vedic days, all the subjects, whether they are animals or human beings, all are his subjects. All living entities are his subjects. So he is responsible for the protection of each and every living entity who is living in his state. We can see in Srimad Bhagavatam that Maharaj Parikshit, when he was touring his kingdom, and it is one of the duty of a king to tour his kingdom, to see that whether everything is properly going on or not. So he was touring his kingdom and he find one black man in the dress of a king, a Shudra man in a dress of a king, who is killing a cow. So he immediately took out his sword and he asked, "Who are you? Why are you killing this cow? If you do not stop, ready to be killed by me." Immediately he took out his sword and ready to kill. So we see that ideal king should not only responsible for the protection of his subjects who are human beings, but also as well as the animals also. They are also his subjects. He is responsible for their protection also. So this is the duty of a king, just like we see in the case of Parikshit Maharaj chastising Kali. But nowadays we see that these slaughterhouses are properly sanctioned, and they are authorized by the government to be run, and so many animals are killed every day all over the world. Why this is happening? Because the king is not properly trained. He has not gone through this varnashram system, brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyas, brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya and shudra. He was not properly trained. Because from the child, from the birth, we are all shudra. Janmana jayate shudro, sanskarat bhavet dvijo. Until unless we are not properly cultured, trained, then how can we expect that if a leader is also ideal, he will take decisions which are beneficial for the public in general. Because public, they do not know their welfare nicely, so they required a leader who can guide them. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, we see a verse in which it is explaining a king should not become a king, a father should not become a father, a mother should not become a mother, if they cannot deliver their dependence from the cycle of birth and death. So it is the king's duty to see that whether all the people, all the subjects, they are engaged in developing their God consciousness or not. If everything is going on and if this thing is missing, that people are not engaged in the activities to advance spiritually, to become God conscious, there should be some arrangements, some facility should be given to the public so that they can meet and they can glorify the Lord in public. They can do Harinam Sankirtan and glorify the Lord's pastime in public. So there was arrangement by the king in Vedic times, but nowadays there is no such facility. And the king is properly taking care of the Brahmanas and the devotees who are engaged in worship of Lord Shri Vishnu. He is especially taken care by the king of all these devotees. But nowadays it is very impossible. It is impossible to be expect from the government. So what is the solution? We have seen these differences are there. So what is the solution? So Srila Prabhupada is giving a solution in Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, in the same canto, previous chapter, in Lord Ramchandra's pastime, 10th chapter, in verse number 50, Srila Prabhupada is writing in his purport that how this Vedic government can be established, Vedic monarchy system can be established again. So basically, we all are Shudras. So Prabhupada is pointing out that simply enforcing laws and ordinances cannot make the citizens obedient and lawful. That is impossible. Throughout the entire world, there are many states, legislative and colleges to train students to become chemical engineers, lawyers, or specialists in many other departments of knowledge. There must be schools and colleges to train people to become Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishya, Shudras, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasis. This will provide the preliminary condition for good citizenship. Varnashrama Gudanvita. So there must be, Srila Prabhupada is stressing that there must be schools and colleges to train people to become Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. So there must be good education, and from the childhood, this child should be trained such a way, children should be trained such a way that in future they are very clear about their duties. What kind of duty I am going to take. Either I have Brahmana inclination, Kshatriya inclination, Vaishya inclination, or if they have no inclination, then better serve the above three categories, Shudra. So that is also, a Shudra can also progress if he performs his duties nicely, if he serves the higher order nicely, then he can also progress spiritually. There is a system for each and every Varna and Ashram in Vedic system to progress. There is properly made system for each and every level. You can progress from your level and you can achieve God consciousness. So this was some points highlighted by Srila Prabhupada, and by his mercy I try to follow and try to share whatever I could. If you have any comments, questions, then please ask. If you have any corrections also, then you can please share. A question? Any questions? Comments? Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for wonderfully explaining the differences and the consequences of monarchy and democracy, Vedic time and modern time. So my question arises that according to the scriptures, it is known that in this age of Kali Yuga, the democracy is going to come. So again, to make the whole citizenship into Krishna conscious, or to have the Vedic Varnasa system and everything, the main thing is that when should become the monarchy system or democracy, or the inside the principle need to be changed. How it is, like the monarchy if comes, then things will be changing. Or if with the democracy only, if the democracy people only accept Krishna consciousness,
yes,
is that going to happen? How can we know that?
So Srila Prabhupada was mentioning, I have read somewhere, Srila Prabhupada was mentioning that if all people become God conscious, then they will elect a person who is also a God conscious person. Either that way, or Vedic system like Brahmanas. There was conversation between His Grace Rameshwar Prabhu and Srila Prabhupada. So Rameshwar Prabhu was mentioning about Plato's philosophy, that how he was also following this Vedic Varnashram system, that people should be trained in their inclinations, and gradually they should be engaged in their duties. So Prabhupada was mentioning that that can be done, that can also be done if all the people, they become God conscious. Then they can naturally select a person. They want a government which is God conscious government, and they will elect a person who is God conscious. So for that thing, the solution Prabhupada is giving, that there should be proper Gurukul system or schools and colleges to train people to become proper Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. Then they can elect a person. That is also possible. But exactly how it is going to happen, I cannot foretell that. But Prabhupada has predicted that this Vedic culture will be established in Kali Yuga. So it will going to happen, but how precisely I cannot say. Prabhupada has mentioned somewhere, but I have not read it.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So there was this, in 1970s there was a Rath Yatra in Sydney. I think Sydney in some part of Australia, and Srila Prabhupada was there. Prabhupada saw the passion, the eagerness and the spirit what devotees were having to preach. They had a big deity of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and there was a big Sankirtan procession. And Harishwari Prabhu mentions that when Srila Prabhupada saw the whole vigor and the passion, the spirit what devotees were holding to win the world and preach the glories of the holy name and preach the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada made this famous statement. Prabhupada said, if preaching continues in the same spirit like this for next 25 years, there won't be any other religion except Hare Krishna.
Right.
So this is a way we'll establish.
Right.
By having the high preaching spirit.
Right.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhupada many times give this example, so like the communist, how they overtook a complete nation. The few people, like Russia and China, is governed by a very handful of people, communist people, but they are controlling the whole country. Similarly, if some strong God-conscious, Krishna-conscious people are there, as Prabhuji mentioned, they can take on the government also. So either ways, it is possible. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, you mentioned that how the one Shudra is performing austerity in Ram Rajya. Shudra.
I have heard it somewhere in Bhagavatam class only.
Yes. So, it is mentioned that in Bhagavad Gita also, one should perform austerity. By austerity, one's existence become purified.
But that austerity should be according to his qualification. No? If we are not qualified to perform that austerity, we should not perform. We should perform according to our, as we are allowed or as guided by our seniors, our Guru. He will tell this much austerity you should do, not that much austerity. Then we should do only that much austerity only. No? So what are the austerities for Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra? They are all mentioned in Shastra. But that person was doing very high austerity, which is mentioned, which is meant for only for Brahmanas, pure Brahmanas. So that is why this type of calamities is happening. According to our Varna and Ashram, we should be engaged. Okay? Thank you. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, गौर प्रेमानंदे।